right, when I'm ready to start adding on, I need to think about which parts are going to be on top of others, because I don't want to add on like I thought, oh, I'm just going to start adding on this face here, but really this leg is behind that. So I want this to feel like it's three-dimensional and this to feel like it's three-dimensional. So I've got to pick the pieces out of all the three-dimensional things. I've got to start with the thing that's, you know, back the furthest. Now, this is only for, you know, if somebody's got a tile like this where there's a transitional story all the way through it. So I'm going to start by dampening this section because I know I'm going to add on. So I want this leg to feel like it's rounded first. So I'm not going to make a huge leg and stick it on there. I'm going to go bits part by part. So, and I'm just going to use like a piece of clay. I'm going to get it kind of soft. I'm going to do it little parts at a time. Since the majority of the leg is right here, that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to make it soft there, and I'm going to use a tool. You can use your pin tool, and I'm going to mark the center of the leg because that's where I'm going to start. So right along the center, I'm scoring this up, and you can see I'm tearing the surface of the clay. I'm not being shy about it. So I want to sort of make slip down there, and then I want to sort of form this. So I want it to be wider at the end where I know that probably should have put a little bit more clay on here. I can always add more to it. So I just sort of want to gently get the shape of whatever it is that I'm adding on. All right, so I am going to dampen this, and I know it's kind of funky. You're thinking like, what? Why are you doing that? It's going to look really, really messy. And to begin with, it will. I'm going to remove these other pieces because I'm just working on this center tile for now. So this leg sort of bends off to the side. So I'm putting this on. I slipped and scored this piece on, and I want it to feel like it's round. So I'm going to mold it into place by putting that on there. And because I slipped and scored underneath, like that's not coming off. And already this feels like it's on top. Now this one's on top of this one. So I'm gonna remove a lot of this clay, just so you know. But I wanted it to feel like it was sort of rounded. So I'm gonna sort of press that down. Now, anything that's extra, I'm gonna cut that off. I'm gonna cut this off because remember that this is gonna line up here. So this is gonna have that thickness to it as well. So this first arm that's sort of, you know, coming up out of this octopus, and this head needs to feel like it's above this. So I definitely have to take some clay off of here, but I wanted it to feel like it was much, much higher than it was. So now that I've built that on, I'm going to take off a little bit. But it's always better to start with too much. And then as this octopus arms reaches out, it gets thinner over here. So I'm going to thin this side down. So by the time I hit the end of this tile, it's going to be almost to the level where I started from. So you can sort of see how I'm starting to carve there. So I added on and then I'm carving down. So it's this process, like off and on of adding on, carving down, adding on, carving down, and getting it into the exact shape that you want. Now, I need to sort of see what shape that is. So, and keep your drawing. You don't want to get rid of your drawing. So yeah, that's about right. So I can always, like, remember, I can always take some of this clay off and work back into this. So in my drawing, I've got, it's my original drawing. So these really do overlap. This piece is going to come out over top of this. So this piece is going to yet build up over top of this. So I wanted to start, you know, in the background here. So I want to pull a little bit more of this off, but I wanted it to feel like, I probably could have gone with a thinner piece of clay. But I really wanted this to feel a little bit more rounded this way. When I carved down originally, like, you know, this is flat. There's nothing rounded about it. So I want this to all feel like it's three-dimensional. So, then if I go out beyond the edge, I just use a knife to cut it off. Now don't forget that this piece is going to be higher than this piece. So that's the next step. You start adding on.